everybody, welcome back. This week is something a little different than the Realtor Spotlight. We are doing a spotlight on one of our most used title companies, Empire Title. And this is Nga, and she is representing them today, and she's just going to tell us a little bit about herself and a little bit about how title can help borrowers, help lenders, help realtors. So go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Thank you so very much, Maya. My name is Nga Losacco, and I am with Empire Title Agency. I have been in the business as an escrow officer for over 30 years, and I am now in sales and marketing, and also helping out in the office as being an escrow officer and helping out in files.
Okay, great. And you guys have offices in both Sedona and Cottonwood, correct?
We sure do. We do that because we want to be able to accommodate buyers and sellers with closing for the Verde Valley area, for both here in Sedona and our Cottonwood office that can cover Cornville, Cottonwood, Clarkdale, Camp Verde, etc.
Awesome. Okay, great. So as most people know, if you've ever bought a house, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people involved. For us as the lender, we work with title super closely from the beginning. One of the first things that we do is request the title commitment, and then we also work with the realtors really closely. So my question for you is, as the team, what can we do as the lender or the realtor do to help make it a better and smoother process for you guys at title?
Well, great question, and thank you. First of all, contact information is the best, because a lot of times escrows are open. We were given the contract, but without information as to the buyer's contact information, seller's contact information, or on a refinance, the borrower's information. We need phone numbers, email address, so we can contact our clients and introduce ourselves and explain what we do.
Okay. Great. And so would you guys be reaching out to the borrowers for that? Because if there's a borrower out there, I just want them to know what they can expect from you guys. I know with where technology is going, there's so many scams, and there's a lot of worry about wiring fraud and all of those things. So what can a borrower, can they expect emails and calls from you?
Correct, yes. Okay. Because it's very important. Like you said, with the wire frauds, we always contact the client, the buyers, to let them know we're sending wire instructions. Or if we email the wire instructions, we follow up with a phone call to let them know that it is from us and to contact us before they send out the wires to confirm the information. And like you said, there's a lot of wire frauds, and we want to make sure the funds get wired to us correctly. We also contact the buyers for opening documentation. We let them know and explain to them that we are the escrow title company that handled their closing and issuing title insurance to the property. And the opening documents for buyers, sellers, and borrowers that they filled out to let us know how they hold title to the property, give us personal information as in social security number, so we can check their names for any liens that may be recorded that they do not know about, which is very important.
Yeah.
Because the ultimate goal is to close the transaction and issue clear title for the property.
Okay, and that's important for everybody, because later down the road, if that borrower wanted to buy another property and it wasn't done correctly, that's going to be a huge problem for them. So it's really important to trust your title agents and trust the title company and make it seamless for them. So it's not always fraud if they're calling or if they're emailing. It's always good to check, but they will be reaching out in both ways.
Yes, we always reach out for the opening part of the transaction. We reach out to them and let them know what lenders needed as to numbers and figures that we disclose to lenders, so that way they can disclose information directly to the buyers or the borrowers at that time. And so ultimately that we can get the loan document early enough to be able to have time to set up the appointments with buyers instead of rushing around saying the last minute, we need you to sign now.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, and we've kind of already touched on it, but for someone who's a first-time home buyer and they're coming in and they get a call from you guys, what can they expect those questions to be? I know you've already mentioned social security number and just like the correct information, but a lot of people think that because they've already given it to the lender and they've already given it to their realtor that you guys might already have that, but that's incorrect. they would have to give it to you as well, correct?
Correct. That's a very good question. And the reason why we ask for that, again, it is because we have to also run the buyer's name to make sure that there is no liens against them. So we explain the process. Within our opening documentation that we send out directly to the buyers, it is basically an escrow agreement stating that buyers and sellers are in agreement to have Empire Title being the escrow and title company that's handling the closing. We ask for personal information because, again, we need to check the names, confirming if there's any outstanding liens, judgments, or anything that can come up. And we also check for vestings, and we explain that to buyers. And we included a vesting page of the document. It asks, how do you want to hold title? And here are some ways of holding title to the properties. And so we explain what those are to the buyers. And it's very important for them to understand about that ahead of time, and that's what we do.
Okay, that's great. And do you have any tips for someone coming in? Say they come in and they just have no idea about anything. What is a tip that you can give them from the start?
Sure. In fact, it's actually great because the tip is communication. Communicate with your agents and communicate with your escrow officer, also your loan agents, because we all have a lot of information that we can give to the buyers, to the sellers, and explain to them. And if there's a buyer that's a first-time home buyers, we go through the process and explain the whole process to the buyers and let them know what to expect. So they are more prepared with the knowledge, with the information we give them. I always believe knowledge is power. It really is. So the more information we give to first-time home buyers or even buyers that are experienced, refresh their memories about certain information so that they know what to expect. So again, communication is big.
Yeah, I agree. I think communication is key for everything in life as a whole, but mostly, I mean, buying a house, as I've said in our other videos, buying a house is one of the biggest transactions you can do. So you want to communicate with your team, you want to know all the members of your team, you want to know your escrow officer, you want to know your loan officer, you want to know your realtor, of course, but communicating with all of them and just making sure you have those point of contacts it's a great tip. So,
yes.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on. I hope this was really helpful for everybody. If you have any questions, specifically for Nga or anybody at Empire Title, I will leave their contact information after this video, and go ahead and give them a call. We love working with them.
And thank you for having me.
Thanks.